transition over to the 4-player version. Is everybody where they're supposed to be?
I believe so.
Yeah. I'm gonna move.
I don't know.
I'm gonna move Will up a little bit
Oh,
because I have trimmed him pretty low.
well, that's
There we
because
go.
my seat keeps shrinking me.
Yeah, and that's 100% okay.
You got shrinky shrunks.
Yep.
Shrinky dinks.
Will sits on a pile of shrinky dinks.
Yes.
Welcome back to Cosmos Candela. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dying of Exposure's second episode of Cosmos Candela. This is a Candela Obscura science fiction, dystopian, deep future actual play set on the deep space station of Veles in a static orbit on a detached moon in the middle of nowhere. Well, in the middle of long trade routes, but not by any planets or solar systems. Hello, kooky cat cosmonauts. How are you all doing?
Doing great.
Think good.
I forgot that was our name.
I'm doing
Wait,
great.
you're supposed to
That's-
say hi, kooky cosmonaut.
That's right.
No,
That's right.
I must break away from just
Okay.
typing Dimension 20
Okay.
immediately. I will inevitably
Oh.
forget next week.
That's
And do
we
it
gotta
anyway.
think of our own thing. We'll think of our own thing. We'll workshop it. Not now, but we'll workshop it.
Behind the scenes.
We'll do like a Major Tom to ground control reference or something like that. It's space. It all works. We're back for episode 2. We will soon have Glitch, but they're running a little bit late. So for now, we did introductions last time at the front. I am just going to breeze through them. I am joined by, starting from the top left of the stream, not including myself, Giggle Girl Productions, playing Nim de Plume. The 90s reference Arsenio Hall grunt came from the Kellhop, playing Kilo Jones. The one down there in the middle center, that's Radio Free Will, playing Eddie Deckard. And the lovely and illustrious and phenomenal Julia Stark, aka Stark.ju, on most social medias, playing our wonderful Terry Bite. And again, Glitch will be back here to play Izzy momentarily, and the video will get real weird for a brief moment, and then I will fix it with the other overlay. But
We like to get weird over here. It's okay.
we do. This is all of the files related to this locally on my computer just refer to this campaign as Sexy Tuesday, as a rollover from a previous.
It's
following
me.
Because you're sex.
No,
I
I accidentally coined Sexy Tuesday, and I thought we'd left it in the past, but apparently
No,
No.
you never
Honestly-
leave anything in the past. It is now
although-
alive. It is an
although I think-
alive thing that trails you around like a
Although I
pony.
think with the sweater game that everybody's rocking today,
Yeah.
I think Cozy Tuesday would
Cozy
be.
Tuesday.
This is
Or toasty
yeah.
Tuesday.
Toasty Tuesday.
Toasty Tuesday. Oh, yeah, that's good.
I want you all to know that I'm sitting in this room in the dead of winter
I know. I
in
see
shorts and a t-shirt.
I
Oh,
know.
I would,
That's your
I
I
fault,
would,
knew you were
bro.
gonna
I
say
would,
that.
I would do that in a heartbeat. Unfortunately, my room is the coldest room in the entire house. So, and,
That is
and it's
fair.
like 20 degrees in Massachusetts right now. So,
Yeah, I don't have Massachusetts weather to contend with, just Washington weather. But nonetheless, last time on Veles, the space station, we got to meet all of our cosmonauts. Eddie Deckard was agreeing to a job he probably shouldn't agree to from his friend slash employer slash dealer
dealer.
slash
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Problem. Tommy. Nim de Plume was having a normal call center work day, pretending to be a supervisor so that a coworker did not get in trouble. And when the lights went out, Terry Bite was a solid 20 hours into a 32-hour streamathon. That's part of their standard stream week schedule. An absolute nightmare.
The hustle never dies.
And the hustle never dies, not even deep into the future. And our very lovely Kilo Jones was having haunting memories and a horn and staring out at the fungal forest in the center, center of the like main platforms of the station levels. Well, a bunch of people from the chorus were levitating into the center of the station as different lights and sections and power grid pieces went out. And more importantly, the alarm horns blared. If you have not seen the first episode, it is up on the YouTube channel. Dying of Exposure, same as the Twitch. And this VOD will be up there tomorrow. So let us return. I would like everyone to please roll me
Oh no.
a d6.
We rolled last
We what?
time, didn't we?
Big
Before
six.
Okay. I'll just do.
But now we're rolling again.
Yeah.
1d6.
No, Glitch offered to go first last time. 4, 6, 4, and 4. 3
Whoa.
4s and a 6. So it looks like it's you, Eddie. Eddie,
Crazy.
the
One
lights
of these
have
things is not like the
fully
other.
gone out. The siren horn blares. You and Tommy were walking out of the sort of shuttered warehouse facility, what was probably for meat storage at one point, based off of how it was structured, but a large, like, commercial level meat freezer, no longer actively a freezer, just a
Sure.
dilapidated building to do crime out of. But you and Tommy had been walking out. He'd been walking ahead of you after you took a brief moment to partake in your very necessary to keep normal and keep straight
Self-medication.
habit. Exactly. I gotta put those content warnings up on the thing. But nonetheless, you hear Tommy, whose voice suddenly he clears his throat, so it's a little bit more different than it was last time, a little lower. What the hell happened, Eddie? What?
Well, I did,
Why are the lights out? What?
I didn't do anything. I swear to God.
Eddie, God, I can't see 5 feet in front of my face, and it is pitch dark. The sirens aren't close to you. You're not in view of what Kilo is. You're kind of tucked away on a lower level, sort of back from the thing. Jesus. The thug that had been leaning against the wall, kind of guarding the post, speaks in rare form and calls out, "Boss, you want me to try and find your boss?" And you can hear that he's fairly far back. Eddie, you're in the dark right now. Pitch black. You're still in the building, but you're out of the offices. What is Eddie's first reaction, especially post self-dosage, like immediate self-dosage?
On an afternoon.
Is he trying to get to Tommy? Is he trying to help something out?
He's gonna try to get outside to see like what's
What's going on?
Yeah.
See what's happening around the area.
Yeah, if they're basically like right, like his goal is like what's happening nearby, and is it basically to assess if it's safer for us to stay inside here or if we should try to get to someplace safer.
All right, that is going to be probably an intuition stat.
Okay.
You have survey, focus, and sense in that.
Mhm. That's probably going to be survey, I think.
Survey. You
Yeah.
think survey? 1d6.
That's a 4.
It's a 4. So you do what almost anyone does in the dark when they can't see, and you just put your hands out
Yeah.
as you and start like moving very cautiously, like you're trying to keep your balance on a well iced over street. Just being like, oh god. The area that you're in isn't very populated, so you are not hearing a lot of noise from outside the building.
Yeah.
But in a greater distance, especially without sight, your ears definitely pick up on the fact that there's the kind of warning siren that's going off. But more importantly, you start picking up the fact that the familiar tones of the security pods that are essentially the police, the patrol police in this district. But nothing's near you, or even kind of within a couple blocks of you. It's all pretty far out. It's a big building, so it takes you a while to eventually find a wall. While you're in the mix of that, Tommy eventually is found by his goon, and you can hear him call out, Eddie, you still in here with us?
Yeah. Where like what are we supposed to do here? Like do we just lay low? What's like
Lay low, miss an opportunity like this. I know what I'm gonna be doing. I don't care what you do. Just, stay out of my office, and everything. You still got you still got minutes on your communicator, right?
Yeah.
All right, I will ring you up. I think it's important for those in the business to take maximum advantage of potential opportunities. It's been a while since there's been a blackout. And then finally, you see a little bit of light when the front doors open as he and his oversized hench manage to make their way out of there, which gives you a little bit more orientation.
Sure.
Tommy, you know that Tommy's going to go off and commit some larceny.
Oh yeah,
some BD.
yeah. Looting, rioting, whatever he has to do.
Yeah. Does Eddie join? Is that something Eddie's interested in? Where does Eddie decide to go if he's not beholden by Tommy?
If he's not beholden by Tommy, Eddie probably wants to get back to the closet-sized studio apartment that he calls home.
Yeah.
And just try to get back there without and he wants to avoid any basically avoid damage. Because he knows that if things start getting too excited, the voices are going to start to come back, and he just took some glass, or he just did some glass. That's not what he wants right now. So he's going to try to find a quiet spot, even though his apartment is probably it's probably like right over a shop or something like that. That's going to be, slammed by someone's going to break in there. He just wants to make sure it's not his stuff that's getting taken, and
all right,
that he is safe.
So Eddie,
yes,
would you Will, would you say that Eddie lives nearby within a few blocks, or does he live nearby within public transportation?
Few blocks.
Few blocks?
Yeah, he's
all right.
He's not going to risk bringing illicit substances on public transit.
All right. I'm going to present to you a situation as you're moving through. Again, area is fairly sparsely populated around here because you don't do crime. You don't have your crime office.
Yeah. You don't shit
like
where you
right
eat.
next to a.
It's-
Yeah, you don't shit where you eat. So it is a handful of blocks away.
Mhm.
I am going to present you another roll.
Okay.
This one's going to be specifically a hide roll. The consequences for this will potentially feel bad, but are not actually high or even medium consequences.
Okay.
Pretty low stakes. But this is going to be a hide roll.
Okay, so I don't have any dots and hides, so that means I'm rolling 2 and taking the lower.
Yep.
All right. And what are drives again?
You can burn them.
Drives are burning them so that you can roll another dice. And so in your case, in this one, that's why I said low stakes,
Sure.
is because you only have the one drive
Right.
and cunning and everything.
All right. So
If you fail this, even if you fail it completely, it's not going to be like a tragic
All right.
or serious consequence.
all right, so yeah, if it's low stakes, then I won't worry about burning the drive yet. And yeah, that's a 2.
So 2. You move through the streets. Once you're out on the streets, it's more visible here. There are
Mhm.
things like emergency lights, not densely packed, but in different areas. Your eyes are adjusting to the low light. There's lights in the distance. This is still a city, and not every block, not every neighborhood is out of power. Just, but you're in an area. You're in an area in your district where it is. As you make your way back, are you trying to focus on not being seen or speed, with
Not
knowing
being-
that you rolled
Not
a 2?
being seen. Try and keep a low profile.
You manage to get near your apartment. It is above a bodega.
Mhm.
It is above a bodega. Out front are the bodega managers, Mr. and Mr. May. Mr. and Mr. May currently have, for lack of a better term, a force shotgun. It's essentially a rack pump action shotgun that delivers a pulse of energy. It doesn't actually have a physical projectile in it, but it delivers it in a short concussive blast to keep people away. It's a very popular home security and business security item.
Sure.
And everything. And Mr. May are out in front, currently guns racked with their like leveled to the ground, and around them are several people, some of which you recognize in an acquaintancy fashion, but nobody that you're like even 100% sure whose name it is.
Mhm.
And they're like, no one gets in. No one gets in. You are not going to enter. You are not going to loot this. Stay back. And they keep like bandying the weapon in the direction as this like crowd of maybe 10 or so people sort of semicircles around them. How do you approach? Does Eddie try to make it happen, or does he just kind of fluidly move away from all of that?
So the people that are surrounding the shop, do they seem to be doing it in like, are they doing it threateningly?
It's a mix. There's definitely some people that you recognize that buy product.
Mhm.
And a couple people that you know don't even have a closet-sized loft.
Mhm.
That you kind closet-sized loft that are there that look a bit more menacing. There's a parent and a child there, older child, like 12, 13. But a parent and a youth there that obviously, blackout happens, immediately go get supplies kind of energy and everything. And then there seems to be some other like concerned citizens. So the mood is tense. The maze aren't making it easier. But there are definitely, I'd say, at least a few of these people that are angling to do exactly what Tommy and his crew are going to do to various businesses.
Okay. I'm just gonna try to sort of sneak by to get to, because I'm assuming like the entrance to my apartment is like it's a side door. It's I don't have to go through the bodega to get there or something.
Because of the two, it is not in an area where you wouldn't be noticed. It is beside the bodega, but it's above it, and there's like a side door with like a stairwell in it, right?
Yeah.
Classic brownstone structure. Sure. But it's like it's not far from the entry, and so there's the crowd, and the maze or kind of the semicircle sort of has opened up on the front of the building, so you'd have to enter that or try to make yourself visible to see if they'll and to be clear, these aren't your property owners. They don't own the apartment up above. They just run the business, and they know you because you live above.
Yeah. So I'm going to walk out, like just try to like get past and like get to the door. And if someone tries to like say like, hey, he's getting through kind of thing, I'm just gonna sort of turn around and just like, they're armed. Fuck off. Seriously, find somewhere else to loot or get supplies or fucking whatever.
All right. I like that. Give me a roll for it. The obvious stat would be sway. Because that's sort of the charisma roll. You can try hide again to see if you can take your time. You can, I even say read if you want to roll read first, see if you get a good result, and then see if you get a good result, and then I can give you a bonus essentially to your hide or sway roll. So that you can kind of like stand there for a bit.
We'll make it sway. We'll just go full on to sway this. And that's a 3.
Eddie, that's high enough, even though it's not even quite a mixed success. It's high enough. It's not a 1 to where the maze see you and then clock you and are like, okay, and everything, but it's not high enough for one of the more menacing looking gentlemen to reach out and grab for you.
Okay.
And be like, when you start arguing with them, they're like, you can't get in. Like, I'm going to get in here. That's what I'm going to do. And what's this guy doing? And he grabs the back of your shirt.
Okay.
And everything like that, because you're a little bit past him. What's Eddie's reaction to this?
So Eddie's reaction is going to be to try to sort of push him away, but I need to. There is a detail that I haven't really looked up in the book yet, and some of the gear that I have, it's 0 of 3, so I get to pick 3 of these. I haven't done this yet.
Yep.
Okay.
No, the way that I'm playing it is, for the moment, if it's a pretty mundane item that would logically be in the space, you can just have it.
Okay.
If it's something that's like specific or specialty, and then as you pick those items, those are the things that are on you.
Okay.
And so like, your gear items there's certain specific things that you could have, but for the early game here, it's more about like, what do you think would be logical to have on him?
Okay.
And obviously, if I'm like, no, that can't be the case, and everything, but I trust all of you to be.
So one of the things that
reasonable.
one of the options that I have is strange weapon.
Yeah. Okay.
There's no other description of it, just strange weapon.
Yep.
And I do.
What is your?
I do feel like Eddie would have some kind of self-defense on him, because not that he's particularly good at using it, but it's one of those things like he is paranoid enough and he runs in rough enough crowds that he knows it's better to have some kind of self-defense than not.
All right.
So what would be considered a strange weapon in this regard, do you think?
It could be strange in that it's a unique weapon like choice. Like it could be a weapon that people wouldn't use normally as a weapon. Like you have a small hole. Yeah. Well, so that's like a weapon's weapon though, and that it can also be a weapon's weapon.
Fiesta wear.
But like it could be some sort of religious statue that you just that has just the right weight of it for you to just beam people over the head with it, like a pedestal piece that's like a foot and a half tall. Or it could be a weapon that is very specifically meant. Would you say that Eddie usually is like, I'd like to use this once, not kill a person and get away, kind of thing? Like it's like my goal is there and away. So I'm going to give you a couple options. There is a babysitting security line of toys and various things that would go into daycares and nurseries that are non-lethal, quote unquote, weaponized things. So Eddie can have a sleep gas spewing teddy bear, which doesn't then involve him having to swing on someone. He can have a little Jack in the Box kind of thing that when it pops out, it delivers sort of like a flashbang, not as drastic as a flashbang, but like a big flash to blind people so that he can get out of there. Or you could have something else of your own measure.
So, something that just crossed my mind is the idea of a something called it's called a static patch.
Static patch.
It's basically an adhesive patch. It looks similar to like a nicotine patch, but if you slap it on someone, it delivers like a taser-like jolt.
Okay, so yeah, it's just like a unarmed melee attack taser.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Okay.
So basically, if someone tries to grab me, like I'll wheel around and just sort of basically shock and grasp. To use a D&D equivalent.
To use the. All right.
It's more of a stunning thing than a like.
Yeah. Damaging thing.
Do like serious damage kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have you roll for that. You got to pick a stat. Nerve seems to be the category, which is not Eddie's forte, but
no, absolutely not. I don't even have drives to burn on that. So send me the good. We'll call it strike. Strike seems like the good one.
It's all the same for you. So
show me. No, that is a 1. Yep.
Eddie. Maybe it was just because you purchased, or maybe it's just because you're on the very front end of your dosage.
Yeah.
But you weren't expecting them to then twist when you went in to slap them on the arm. And unfortunately, with a 1, you apply the patch to yourself and it goes dark suddenly as you slip into consciousness. We will return, or unconsciousness. We will return back to Eddie. We're going to transition over to someone else. Let's go with, and by the way, obviously you've been on stream for a bit. Welcome, Glitch. Let's go with Nim. Nim. Call center's dark. The official security floor security champion who handles all the emergency procedures of this large building, building on
Is
this
floor
floor.
security champion their official business title, their official title in the office?
No, it's a thing they volunteer for
Gotcha.
and everything,
They're the
but they
hall
remind
monitor.
anything moves that light that they had in your eyes out of your eyes and everything and down to the floor.
Or like, like
Everyone.
her pupils are just so overly blown, they just shrink
Yeah.
immediately.
You
to
can't
those,
see
they're like,
anything. Everyone, we need to make it to the emergency stairwells. I imagine the lifts are out. Emergency stairwells. Please follow the sound of my voice and the emergency security torchlight. And it's just a flashlight.
Said the teenager from The Simpsons.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh my
Emergency.
Hey,
I'm
I'm in
an
charge
adult
here.
married. I'm an adult married person with several children.
It's the voice of the
this
teenager
is
from
just
Monsters
my voice.
Inc., like the one with the fucking like 2719. Like that's what it sounds like to me.
2719.
The references, the eras, the generational references. So they begin guiding you out. You turn and your cubicle buddy, the little mole lady, is nowhere to be seen or near you. You're not worried. She can see in absolute darkness nearly. But she seems to have skedaddled off and everything. Is there anything on your desk that you take that is a personal item before you head out?
Fuck. I don't think she would take anything necessarily from her desk, but she's definitely keeping her little headpiece on.
Keeping your little headpiece on?
Yeah, just so that she can, like, if she gets calls, not necessarily from the call center, but like your coworkers know what your company phone number is, kind of thing. Like, just in case.
All right.
I'm just gonna let her do.
You
Just
find
casually
yourself
walking off
gathered.
with company property. Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
Work computer.
It's a normal thing. You file in with the dozens of other employees that are at this call center for Talk to Me. And you are on. Give me a 2d6 roll, please, and tell me what the number is.
2d6.
Combined total.
Oh, combined. I was gonna say, like, are you asking for higher, asking for lower? The total would be an 8.
You are on the 8th floor of this building, walking down the stairwell. It's a switchback emergency stairwell. The future hasn't evolved so much that they've managed to figure out a better way to do that. And it would be tense if it wasn't so boring, right? Like, you're just all stepping out. You're just going down. You can't move fast. No one's panicked. They do these drills once a quarter. And nobody's
Lucky it's
like
not raining today, so we're fine.
acting a fool. While you're walking down these floors, can I have you? And this doesn't have negative stakes on it, but can I have you roll a anything in the or can I have you roll a sense roll for me, please?
A sense roll. Sure. That would be a 5.
5. Higher end of mixed success. As you mentioned that you have your earpiece in, you were confident you don't screw up your mute game or your disconnect or you're not ready. And of course, the power is out. But you begin to hear a little bit of static as you're walking down. It wasn't noticeable at first, but now it's becoming louder and louder. Like, not aggressively so, but it starts as like almost a whisper, and it just kind of keeps increasing upward. And underneath the static, you begin to hear what sounds like talking, maybe from a real low voice. It's hard to make out. What does Nim do in this?
Does it sound like someone? Does it sound sort of like, oh, it's talking to someone else, or does it sound like it's trying to ask like a question? Can she kind of figure out from
No,
like the tone at all
it's
of what
almost
it
like you're
is, or is it just like a low
overhearing
whispering?
something, like a low muttering almost.
Okay. Okay. I think she's gonna kind of like reach up and try to see if she can like up the volume, like on her thing.
Turn up the volume.
Yeah, like kind of go to like the little clicker of it or whatever and start like upping the volume, trying to like, okay, what?
As
What's
you increase the volume, the static certainly gets louder, and it's irritating, but it's not painful. And everything. But more importantly, that muttering kind of goes into that. It's not so much muttering or a conversation. It's real low tone voice. It's a bit of a chant. Just like you realize it's someone repeating something. Just a Moe Zanane Danake. It's a little melodic and sing-songy. You still can't make out the syllables of it, but
You don't like my dance,
it's
Julia?
No, it's scary.
so good.
it just keeps kind of repeating itself. Give me what would it be for you? You can make a case for either of this. Give me a skill roll about like how you're feeling in this moment.
A skill roll about how I'm
Scary.
feeling.
Yeah, so there's a
Silly.
few ways you could go in this. Like you could do it in the nerve space if you want it to be more of a physical body thing. You could do it in the intuition space. I would say that either focus or sense would be the one to do it.
Yeah, I think.
I'm gonna say medium consequence for this.
Okay. One moment.
Julia's face.
Got too warm, too cozy. So medium
gosh.
consequence. Nothing life threatening, but definitely something a little bit more.
Steve said no more hoodie, it's time to cook.
I was already
Yeah.
cooking. It's like, okay, now I'm scared. Got to keep away from the sweat. I do think that if Nim's hearing something, especially something that sounds like, oh, maybe words that she doesn't necessarily understand, she's gonna try to focus in and lock in to try to be like, oh, is this a new language that I don't know? What's going on? Even if it's
There's
spooky,
new
I
one.
think she'd be
There's a
like,
new one in
oh,
the catalog.
it's like I think the curiosity would spike a little bit more, and she would start leaning into
Yeah.
that to see like, okay, this is weird. How scared should I be?
All right.
Identify how scared I
Yeah.
should be. So focus.
Probably focus, yeah.
I forget, what does gilding mean?
So you assign one of the die that you're rolling as the gilded die, and if you pick that die as your result, it gives you a drive marker. And so it doesn't have to be the highest number. You can choose to fail to recover drives.
Mhm.
You have quite a lot of drives right now in intuition.
I'm pretty
so,
good on drives, I think.
Yeah.
You're so
But yeah,
driven.
and so you have 2 dots, so you roll
As you
2d6 and take the higher one.
Nim's so driven.
Reroll. That would be a 6.
A 6.
Rolled a 6
That's
and a
good.
3.
That's
Six
a
is
good
much
thing.
That's
better.
a good roll.
That's a good
roll.
roll
That was
for
a
this one.
delicious bite. So glad I have 2
The
dice.
static begins to wind away, or rather your brain begins to filter it out, and you begin to focus on where the phrase and the melody sort of begin so that you can figure out the loop. This is your bailiwick. This is what you do, is understand language.
Right.
And with you are confident you've never heard this tongue before. You have never heard anything even kind of like this.
Oh my god.
If Nim,
I never played D&D, guys. This is so cool.
It's so
if
good.
Nim,
It's delicious, right?
this is
And it only gets
Really
better.
this is going to be a bit on the spot, but
Oh, baby.
if Nim could think of, since you rolled a 6, I'll make it
Ooh.
nice. If Nim could think of a film scene or even a commercial maybe that just always makes them emotional, like begin to tear up and well
no.
up,
Like
what
those,
would that be?
like those SPCA.
You don't have to be specific. You can kind of go to broadly themes, like
McDonald's.
the anytime injury McDonald's injury happens. Yeah,
it.
exactly. It could be that. It could be that.
Don't bring that here.
We're just.
It can be a sad dog.
So terrible.
Don't bring that here.
You can adopt a Quagorian kitten that is left alone in the streets. and
We
this is
may
the
or may not
saddest
euthanize this
cat.
one today, just because you did us 10 cents.
100%.
It's either adopt it or recycle it for food. That's your choice. That's not that. Well, maybe I don't know. I haven't decided how truly villainous the capitalism is going to be, or if it's just normal villainy capitalism. But yeah. So what would Nim's most like? This is the nice version. What would be like an emotional scene? Something not personally to do to them, but it always just sort of gets them, right?
100%. It probably would be something like that. Just like I feel like it probably would be like the space version of like In the Arms of an Angel, when you're just like, oh, that's just really sad.
Little space kitties in the pouring rain.
100%. Like it's when you see like the hang in there
Just
poster,
big-eyed
but it's like
elephant
a
nose.
weird, like overly long cat, and you're just sitting there like, why is it in a tree? Who put it in a tree?
Who put it there for the sake of a poster?
You hang in there.
So very office appropriate. So is Nim concerned about other people seeing Nim be emotional suddenly? Do they have an air of like a self-image that they must maintain, or are they more of a open book? Like, or do they not? Would they not really think of that in this moment?
I think it's not so much that she's like an open book, but I think in general she tends to be rather upbeat and reasonably like chatty and sociable. But when she gets really emotional, she gets really, really quiet. So I don't think people necessarily notice that quietness when you start feeling that way, until someone like locks eyes. So she's probably just like kind of like making sure her eyes are just anywhere but where a person could lock eyes. She's trying to avoid that thing of some people don't really notice that until like you make that eye contact. They're like, oh, you're not okay. So she's just like, don't let them know. Don't look at people's faces.
Oh, I got a
All right.
bit and then everywhere together.
Don't do that.
I'm
I'm joking.
gonna need Nim to roll a move roll then, while
Yeah.
you're distracted by both the audio and the feelings
Show
you're
us your
suddenly
moves.
feeling. So that would be, if you don't put any drives into it, 2d6 take the lower.
Yep. I don't have much
Am I good at
movement.
that? Oh, I'm
She
good.
does not like to move it.
That makes sense. You have an office job. You know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm a bird in an office. I'm not meant to do
Birds
this.
love
Ah.
dancing, though.
Like a bird in
It's
a
so heartbreaking.
cage.
They're not
Like a
well.
bird in a cage.
They
It
never
doesn't know how
dance
to
well. They
dance.
kind of just
Yeah.
like
Despite all your rage, you're still just a bird
that
in
is
a cage.
100% a two.
A two?
That is a
You-
Was that a sneeze? A two.
a two.
You-
And
And
to you, a two.
with
A 1, a 2.
sneezing
Sorry,
feet.
Steve. Sorry, Steve.
100%.
I apologize.
No, it's always for the bits. The longer that these things drag out, the less work I have to do. So feel free to.
We're adding the list.
The stairwell, which has the security lights in it, is dimly lit with kind of like a yellow pastiche. Is a little warm because of all the bodies in here. Clattery noise. It kind of takes a backseat to this chanting. You find yourself almost beginning to hum as you listen to this along with it for like a brief moment. You also find yourself really beginning to start crying.
Oh.
Little more than you normally would react. And this is so distracting that you in maybe not so rare form. Maybe you're a little bit klutzy. Stairs aren't really meant for clawed-foot creatures.
Not necessarily.
And everything. But you find yourself stumbling. Now, one would
Ugh.
think, with the stairwell as cluttered as it is, that you just kind of fall into the next person and they'd say, but unfortunately, you begin to tumble kind of ass over tea kettle kind of down just like one half flight of stairs, but you bonk your head really good. You're not going to take any damage
Oh
here.
my god.
Yeah.
But the disorientation of it,
Concussed.
the fact that you're listening to the chanting, the fact that you are crying,
Mm-hmm. It makes a bit of a
something triggers a memory,
Ooh.
not something you can get your brain around,
Okay.
but a brief memory. And your eyes blur up more and more with tears as coworkers that you don't really know seem concerned about you, reasonably so, and look like they're trying to help you up. But instead of you getting to get helped up and like wipe your tears away, your brain just starts losing the ability to focus your eyes.
Whoa.
And not so much in a blackout as much as it is a disassociative event.
Mm-hmm.
You are being hefted up, and you know that people are moving you, and people are now beginning to speak loudly, not quite shout. Someone's trying to go on their communicator to call emergency services, but you're being carried downstairs. You're losing a bit of the connection with the physical world as this thing plays in your ear.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to cut for you.
Not terrifying at
Yeah,
all.
let's just lead with that.
No
Good
worries.
old-fashioned trauma.
Kilo.
I love it. We got zapped.
Yes.
We got concussed.
I'm
Let's
sure I'll be
go.
fine.
We're on a crazy train.
All
Kilo.
right. Yes.
You are currently looking, again, far enough in the distance, several city blocks away,
All right.
is the other side of the chasm, where you can see up a few floors is the fungal kind of woods that has always been part of Veles, and a member of the, or members of the
Julia.
chorus
Julia, you can go, Julia.
hovering up.
Oh, turn the camera.
That's fine. Hovering up to the or hovering up and over the chasm. You have convinced Yancey to get themselves home safely. What is
In
Kilo's
exchange
reaction?
for my dignity at karaoke.
Yeah, in exchange for you having one beer at karaoke.
One beer. Did not say I would sing.
Specifically said you wouldn't sing.
Life
I would
goals.
not.
Exactly. You didn't say you wouldn't
I would-
sing
no,
under
I
any
will not.
circumstances.
But nonetheless,
Yes.
what is Kilo's instinct when you're seeing this? Because you're not seeing any jet boots or anti-grav boots. You're not seeing any jetpacks. None of these people seem to have wings or anything like that. This is not how people fly in the future. They are just sort of
This is
lifted up,
unnatural.
chest
This is
up,
not-
arms back.
Yes.
What's Kilo's instinct to do in this moment?
My instinct is to first of all get closer to this scene, and second of all to try to observe from what I deem is a safe distance.
Okay,
But
so
still within, I would like to hear what's happening.
all right. Kilo, would you say that Kilo has a personal vehicle of sorts to travel around? They're
Well-
not like cars. They're more like almost like little hover mopeds.
I can I do you one better if you let me?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So my what I envision as a trash truck on this station. It's kind like in the future it's literally just a platform, like a hovering platform, but you throw the trash onto the platform and you see it like phase through a force field of sorts, and like you can just keep filling the bubble. It just all stays under like that. But it's fairly simple. Like there's not even a seat. You literally just stand at the front of it at like the quote unquote helm, where it's just literally just handlebars, various buttons and
Yeah, it's
things to
almost
make
like
it go.
a pallet jack
Exactly.
automated mover in that way.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and so that's what you go to your garbage you go to your garbage carrier.
Important question. What sound does it make?
What
Yeah,
sound
what's
is it?
the field make when it does that? Give us a little Foley work.
Oh gosh.
When you put garbage into it, and then what's that field sound make? And then we'll also talk about what the propulsion of it sounds like.
I didn't even picture it as making sound, to be honest.
Okay, so I'm gonna split the difference. The field makes almost no sound. Imperceptible EM field, sort of like electricity, but like very quiet.
All right.
But as in the past, so in the future, even though it doesn't seem like it needs to be, for some reason, these little garbage carriers make such a rumble when they get up. It just and it always sounds like they're idling even when they're moving. And they don't move fast. That might be in your favor here.
If they don't, they don't.
Well,
move
I mean,
fast.
they don't move. They're not like the security forces kind of vehicles. They can get up and go. Like if you're going a distance, you can eventually pick up enough speed. They don't have a lot of torque at the beginning of the thing, so their 0 to 60, if you will, is like half a minute. But like if you're but it's much faster than say walking or even running. The equivalent of like they usually get driven around at like if they're not on their stops, they usually get driven around at the equivalent of like 20 to 25 miles an hour. So they can move.
So if I know this thing makes noise, then I will not be taking it.
Okay, then I'm gonna have you roll me a D6.
Just because I don't want them to hear me coming, and if it's a big old rumbler, kind of.
Yeah.
A D6, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a 3.
It's a 3.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a what's called a pedal clutch, which is the thing that I'm going to assign to you that you commute to work in, and it's essentially a mechanically powered analog or a mechanically powered pedaling hover bicycle. So it looks a little bit like a Schwinn, with a little bit like a Schwinn, but instead of wheels, it just sort of has like these like anti-grab fields. But the way that it's powered is by you pedaling, and everything.
Sense. He's a fit guy. That's good for him.
Yeah, he's fit. You're a little big for it. Not comically so. Yeah, but like there's not a lot of these made for 7 foot plus tall boys out there. And so you're a little big for it, but it is dead silent. It is the quietest way that you could possibly approach something.
That's what I want.
So you approach, because you're approaching a little bit slower. You're not on like these things. These partial failures this partial failure does actually work in your favor for something that's going to have a bit more of a consequence. You're getting closer, but keeping your safe distance. But you're specifically trying to hear. I'm gonna need either something in the intuition category. You pick.
Okay.
And can decide which one of these things you roll. Medium-ish consequences.
Medium-ish consequences. I've got one
low mid.
Oh, so I forgot to use this last time, and you can tell me what it means. So I have a skill. Oh wait, does this not? Would this count as making a survey roll in a dangerous place?
It absolutely would.
Okay. So I can use basic training, which says I have tactical experience in high pressure situations. When you make a survey roll in a dangerous place, also add a number of dice equal to your current nerve resistance. So what is my current nerve resistance?
One right now.
Just one.
So
I roll an
it's
additional
the little
die?
triangle at the bottom. Actually, right now your nerve resistance. I was looking at your intuition. Right now, your nerve resistance is 0. So on your character sheets, you see where it says resistance under yours. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong sheet. Ignore me. You have a 1 right now in
Okay.
nerve.
So I
correct.
get to roll an additional die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So if you're doing survey, you can do 3 die then.
I'm gonna do that for sure. And I get to take the highest?
Highest of the 3, yep.
Okay, come on, baby.
Let me know if you get 2 6s or 3 6s.
2 6s. I'm not gonna be that lucky.
Get multiple 6s is a crit.
I did get a 6.
You got a 6.
I got 1 6. I got a 6, a 4, and a 2.
Okay, so you're keeping your distance, a safe distance. You're keeping out of sight.
Okay.
You're able to spot anyone that might be noticing. You eventually kind of quickly notice that they don't seem to be paying attention to the very near area. At first, what looked like several, maybe 8, 10, 11 people, you now realize as you gain more perspective, as you're kind of skirting the edge of this,
Oh no.
there's actually dozens of these religious zealots is the wrong word, devotees this of the choir, and they are kind of spreading out very slowly from each other, almost like like someone threw a scattering amount of confetti.
Okay.
But they're moving much slower. They're moving at like a slow mosey of a walk's pace, just sort of spreading out in the station. I'm going to give you a benefit here. I need you to roll a straight, we're going to call this a straight sense roll, but I'm going to give you the benefit of, instead of having disadvantage on the roll, you can have a 1, like +1. So it would be a flat single
roll.
D6. You could also use one of your drives for this. This also kind of has some decent consequence to it.
So I have to choose to use a drive before I roll, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I will use my last drive in that then.
Okay.
This is a sense, you said? Yeah.
A sense roll. Yeah.
All right, it's okay. If I start getting hurt and stuff, my drives can come back.
That's true.
Okay.
My whole thing. Yeah,
That
so
feels
just
better.
hit me and I'll do great. All right. Oh, wait. Yes, right. Okay. Do I get advantage on that or no?
No,
I take-
just the 1d6. Because
Wait, but
normally you'd
I
have disadvantage.
I burned a drive.
Sorry, 2d6 because you burnt a drive. 2d6.
Okay,
so
so I
higher of the 2.
I got a 4.
Big success. That's good. You hear it.
All right.
You just hear it on the edges of your ability to hear. It's not being spoke loudly.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a listening device in your ear that you can turn up the volume on. But you do hear it. And you recognize just a little piece of it. Just a piece. It feels familiar. Not recognize it perfectly, but it feels like it's of a set.
All right.
And it almost comes with a sense of familiarity. This sound, this low murmur. For you, it just sounds like muttering to a degree, but it feels like, you know how Yancey talked about melodic talking?
Yeah.
It feels a little bit like that.
Okay.
And it's something that you feel like you know. What is our boy Kilo? Do they press closer to try and listen to it, or do they?
I've heard this before, or at least this voice before.
This voice, this tone, something about this. Like a song lyric you almost remember.
Yeah. Absolutely tries to press closer. 1000%.
I want you to roll whatever you think you can convince me that is comparative to a fortitude save for Keela.
A fortitude save. Okay.
So you can pick the skill. You can do it with your body. Yeah, like with your nerve skills. If you can pitch me the relative. I can give you one to do, but
Something close to a fortitude save. Well, I would think that would so that's targeting like me physically, like
yeah,
my
it's
physical
a physical
body.
effect. Yeah.
Maybe
High consequence here.
high consequence. Okay. I'm looking at things under nerve to see which one looks
My
the
instinct
best
would be control.
to brace myself. Of course, that's the one I
Or
don't have the good ones in.
yeah. My instinct would be control. If you can convince me how Tilo specifically steals his nerve, so that they are braced for this, that's fine. And it is a very physical thing that is going to pop up. But yeah, it's
Okay. Could I? Cuz
what?
I said this.
You
Fuzzed out a little bit.
yeah you
Your
Yeah,
mic is fully
your-
fuzzed.
We can't
Yeah.
hear you right now at all. I think your microphone kind of just putzed.
yeah.
I want to restart that.
Toggle off to a different audio source or unplug and replug it in, all that stuff.
All right, hold on.
Okay.
Yay! Am I on?
There we go.
Yes.
You're
Okay,
good.
good.
Your audio's back.
Because of my soldier background, I feel like Kilo has plenty of experience in navigating a battlefield. Could
Yeah,
I make
you
an
feel like he's turned up?
Could I make an argument for a movement in that he is fully braced to approach in the most careful, strategic way possible?
Yes, you can. I think that's a fair argument for movement. You have 2 dots in movement. You have a lot of drives in nerve. I will allow you
And this
to
is
go
high
up.
consequence?
This is high consequence. So because this is high consequence, I'll allow you to roll up to 2, add up to 2 drives on this. So you could, in theory,
I will
roll
absolutely
4d6
do that.
for this.
I will absolutely do that. Okay, take away 2. So 4d6. Okay. I'm scared.
Me too.
Okay.
No pressure.
My highest is a 5.
5,
I have a
big
couple
success.
5s, a 4, and a 3.
That's good. That's good.
Okay.
So you, with a high consequence 5, managed to dodge the worst of this.
Okay.
But I need
Mhm.
you to make a choice. Without it's going to choose how I narrate this consequence.
All right.
If you had a choice, if Kilo had a choice, a preference, brain or body, where would they want their damage to be?
Oh no.
I think he's had enough damage in his brain. I think he would choose his body.
Okay, you're going to mark 1 in body.
Okay.
And the reason is that you're hyper aware for the battlefield, which allows you, even for something you don't see coming, because you're focused a little bit on the 180 degrees in front of you and a little bit back, but not directly behind you, as you just hear it and move just in time to only get lightly clipped by it and manage to maintain the stability of your clutch pedal, or pedal clutch, your pedal clutch, and so you don't lose that, fall out of the sky, or anything like that. but much like a normal city driver would ignore a bicyclist and put them deeply under threat, so too does Kilo know this pain, as a security pod just zooms up behind you, and it's kind of fortunate that that one zoomed up and just clipped you, because several more are moving like lightning toward this cavalcade of or toward this like gathering of that as they move through, essentially through you, but you just dodge out of the way to take that single mark.
Okay.
And
I
you
refresh your
watch-
drive and intuition, just so you know.
Yep, you
I don't
refresh
know
your
if you want me
drive
to
because
tell
you
you
get
Okay.
to do that. You don't have to tell me what. I trust you.
I wasn't sure.
I will remind you to always refresh your drives on Mark.
Okay.
But on Mark's, because it's a neat thing for your character. But Kilo, you just get clipped and everything. How does Kilo feel about this district's private law enforcement?
How do I feel about private law enforcement?
Yeah, all law enforcement, with the exception of those particularly assigned to politicians, to the political body of Veles, are private. That happened a couple hundred years ago.
Well, in Kilo's personal experience, you know, they failed me when I needed them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're fairly incompetent.
Do you, as you get clipped and as these things run by, do you move off to the side or do you keep your slow pursuit?
I'm not gonna leave it up to them. I'm gonna keep pursuing.
That means that you get to watch this happen. Kilo, you watch as these fast-moving security pods just are barreling toward the area, the open space above the fungal woods here.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch them all hit a vertical plane, like a space, almost as if there's an invisible net
Like
or wall there,
yeah.
and they all start dropping. Their momentum completely dies. They power off, and they start dropping they start dropping as if the laws of physics don't apply. They don't react and bounce off. They just start dropping down several hundreds of feet.
Oof.
At just dead weight drop speed. You feel that your pedal clutch, as you get closer, is not
being drained.
You're having to pedal it harder to get the energy to it. It feels like it's not operating correctly.
Okay. That's why the lights are off, obviously. This thing is draining the power from the city. Okay. Do I hear anything else as I've gotten closer?
With no sense roll needed. From a murmur to a quiet chant. You see now, you're close enough to see where or to see enough detail on the faces of some of these people, to see that they're the ones, they're mouthing, they're chanting. You can see they're physically making this noise. I need a hide roll from our boy, Kilo. You're still pretty far away, honestly.
You're big.
I'm not good at that. I might have to. I might have to burn a couple of... Can I burn a couple of drives or just one?
You can burn both your drives. You have them. You can always burn yourself up to 3, no matter what. That's always allowed. I will play with gating past 3. It'll never be more than 6. I'll never let you roll more than 66. But
what kind of stakes are we talking right now? Just out of curiosity.
Medium consequence, nothing that will aggressively harm your character in the long term.
Okay. Still burn a couple. He's a tryhard.
Hmm.
Okay. We got a 6.
Hell yeah.
1 6.
That's super good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a complete success. You manage to, you get a feeling. You happen to be looking at one, and you get a feeling. You just get that instinct that maybe you see its muscles tense, and you just move off to the side. And when you move off to the side, you move into kind of the walkway back into where, you know, people would be. The streets are not particularly full in this moment. It's still midday, if you will, on the station. It's still like, you know, 3:30. Midday on the station. And so, but you were too focused on dodging to do anything about seeing exactly where you had to pivot, because you had to move quick when that person's head turned to look exactly where you were with their eyes open, not interrupting their chant. Maybe it was the audio of the chant, the hearing of it, that stopped you on your right-hand side from noticing a different scaled lizard man who has just stepped out of the like athletics gym that they were working out in with their self-insert NPC buddy Steve, former roommate, who was trying to convince them. The sirens had been going for a little bit, Izzy. But like the news was kind of what was on in the screens in the gym and everything. And after another, I don't know, 5 minutes of going round and round with Steve who's trying to get you to, you know, bad news bears his team into a victory so that he can make some money gambling. You finally just decide the power isn't out inside of the kind of athletics club, but it is in the streets. It seems like there's backup generator or backup power sources here. You didn't even notice a blip, but you decide like it's time to leave. He's not gonna let this go. You need to create some distance between you and him, and you walk out. And as you kind of approach the front of the building, you can hear the sort of like warning sounds.
Protect your peace.
And everything. It's not an alarm drill that you've heard before. It doesn't sound like a fire alarm or anything like that, or a smoke alarm or a security alarm of any kind. But more importantly, you don't have a lot of time to think of it the moment you step out of the thing, because into you comes the form in a pedal on his pedal crutch of a person strafing directly cluttering into you, a huge brick of a man, and you're no small waif yourself. Just almost like shoulder checks you. No harm, no need to like roll. Nothing bad is
God,
gonna
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that you see the over.
What in the world's going on, dude?
I'm sorry. That's a real good question. Do I know? Is he?
I don't think you.
I don't think so.
I don't previous connection.
I don't think that was.
However,
the established connection.
Izzy has played on a lot of ESPN3 broadcasted.
So
sport,
I may have seen Izzy on TV.
So how into sports is our guy Kilo?
How into sports?
Yeah.
I feel like
mask is this mask?
not that. I mean, I think he's casually into sports.
Casually into it. I don't know if you would recognize each other, but I have a question for both of you. Both of you, if I recall correctly, are kind of scaly lizard men. You both kind of have like a reptilian vibe from you. Are you from the same species?
That's racist.
Or-
I'm kidding.
No.
Yeah, I know, right?
Not all
It's only
No.
because
related.
Glitch and Kelly look
Not all-
exactly
I
alike.
have
Not all
I have
sorry.
no
Okay.
I have no wait, does Izzy have a tail?
Yep.
I do not have a tail. I do not have a tail. I have 4 arms and I also have a secondary set of eyes and I also have my funky little horns.
Like I said, if you
feel like we
compare
got
these
a lot of-
two,
I
Kilo,
don't think they're
Croc, Izzy, Chameleon. That kind of comparison.
Yeah, yeah.
Distinctly
from-
different.
Maybe from the same galactic region, but certainly
maybe,
far
yeah.
enough away from not in any way the same.
galaxy,
people.
different planets, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Very
Where it's
different
like
genus, very different species.
whatever happened. I might as well reveal it. So the way that
Reveal.
aliens work in this world is that all of this sort of like bioessentialism nonsense does not exist. But something that does exist is that a lot of species that tend to look adjacent to each other are from the same like zones of galaxies. They're portions of the Big Bangs and collision, the things that caused life in their history were from similar
portions
materials.
of a planet
and-
or yeah.
And the broad majority of people
Similar
like
solar
know
system.
this to be true. Like they this isn't like a thing. It doesn't practically matter. There's no possible
Well,
actual
I mean, evolution is
alliance.
just a theory, after all.
Yeah, it doesn't practically matter much in the day to day,
Yeah.
but it is something that like medical science obviously advanced upon over centuries, because it's like, oh, you're not even kind of the same, but you do have the same base elements, and that means that there's something
Yeah.
here. So there's been a lot of development from that.
Yeah,
So
boron
there's no
based
kinship.
electrons.
There doesn't have to be any of that. Certainly, certain areas have had intergalactic empires and things like that, like multi-system situations where they've had history. But there's no like genetic essentialism so much as there is just a similarity. So
But
you know that you're
we
from.
both might enjoy sunning ourselves on a warm rock.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
probably do not
exactly.
understand what
Who doesn't?
spicy food is.
So what's up, my galaxy from the same galaxy?
Lord,
Did you actually just wait? Is this a character? Did you just say
I
that
need
to
to
me?
lie down. BRB.
Oh,
I
They go
love
You
that.
say that,
galaxy from the
and I
same
think-
galaxy.
I think Kilo's
face.
face, which was trying to say to greet you, immediately goes slack and turns
dies.
away from you, back to what he was doing. I'm sorry, that felt rude. I'm
Sorry.
gonna turn back around to you. Just don't.
Sorry,
That-
I was
that's
going to
awfully
interact
familiar.
with you, but I changed my mind after that.
I actually
That was-
turned
that was
my back
awfully
too, thought we were gonna, like, do a tail bump or something like okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Tail bump.
Not one of the tail ones. Not one of the tail ones.
This is a.
In that species,
little
the phrase
bit, it's
"give
a
me
little-
some tail" means something completely different.
Right. It's like high five, and everywhere else they're like, pardon. Excuse me.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
I'm not.
So, yeah,
I'm
the
not
two of you
actually.
are standing there.
I'm no one. I'm no one of any authority or anything. But my name is
Already.
Kilo, and it is a little bit. It's a little bit dangerous out here right now.
Oh, I live for danger. Izzy, how you doing? Free ball is full of danger, and like I used to be in the slam jag tag issue, so yeah, danger's
Turbo Slam Tag.
danger's my
You're talking
Forgot
you're
it.
talking to Kilo,
No.
and like as you're talking to him, you see where he got clipped, like a small like trickle of blood coming down, acting entirely unfazed by the wound.
Like,
I'm just saying.
Before we
You get to the-
continue, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Doing so good.
I can't. The fact that we keep bringing up freeballing. Has anyone else seen the episode of Metalocalypse where they talk about going commando and use the phrase freeballing for it? So it's okay.
Yeah, that's what I've always known.
All right,
known
awesome.
it to mean.
Cool. Just all right, just
I assumed it was deliberate.
I was not
deliberate.
the only one trying to hold himself together whenever this came up. Okay, continue.
But
in context of what we're doing, completely legit game. No one thinks about it that way. But
Right, just assumes
But
everybody's
nonetheless.
thinking in
Happened.
sports terms. Like obviously freeballing. Most people who are
Yeah.
not into the sports terms.
it's the sport without a ball.
Yeah.
It's free of balls.
It's free of ballless, some might say.
But yeah, so Izzy, you're looking at Kilo, who's having who's a very dour energy.
I hate my brain because I just thought of like, here, free ball it. One day I want to be like the great Viz-ectomy.
Of course, you had to. Anyway, Izzy, you're looking at
some place they call it unit.
Because they become true.
Izzy, you're looking at Kilo, back at Izzy. Two more different people could not be there, but
Satisfactual.
I need Izzy, while you're affably having this conversation with this very big, very stoic man, can I have you roll for me we're going to call it a sense check, because it's just about the things around you, which is not your most optimal stat.
Definitely not.
But
the
it is what it
read the room
is.
check is not high.
So 2d6, take the lower.
2.
2, perfect.
Could be a 1. Could be worse.
This is gonna
Could
be
be on one.
Kilo, you
Yes.
get to watch Izzy do this. Izzy, you're engaged with this stranger, big guy, your Palaxy, if you will.
Please don't.
God. Oh my God.
Your Palaxy, and
I will not. I will
you
never.
don't notice this, but you and you're generally fairly physically active. You don't notice this, but you start moving, like swaying, like white guy two-stepping, where it's just like little shuffle steps. But you are in rhythm to something. You don't notice this during this interaction. Kilo, you are watching because you can still hear it. You are watching this strange person, this stranger you just met, move in rhythm to this.
Yeah, so like you got someone on your face
stop.
right now, and what?
It's not a listen. I don't think that's a good stop. It's not a good idea. Do you see what you're doing? Look
what?
at your feet. Look at your feet.
Okay.
Listen.
And Izzy, you can now hear the like quiet, chanty kind of melodic-y kind of thing. You're moving in double time to it because it's very slow. But you can hear it, and you're like, oh, I just kind of picked up the movement, the sway of it.
I don't know what they're doing, but I don't think it's a good idea to dance to it.
Yeah, it's not a real good beat.
It's not the
Little
best.
Too melodic.
Also, I just saw a bunch of security drones get fried over there.
Ooh. Yeah, we've been in the gym and like guess backup power or something. We don't know what the heck's going on.
That's what's going on. It's draining all the power in the city.
Uh,
Is the
yeah.
net visible? I'm just
No.
curious.
It was just an invisible
Okay.
force. It was just description. There's no indicator
There's
whatsoever
nothing.
that there's
There's
like
no
a
glimmer.
wall.
There's no nothing. Okay,
Nope.
gotcha.
As you two are having this discussion, you see that more, these ones actual drones, just robotic cameras, lights, things like that, are buzzing through the city, humming along as they're being deployed out
From
through
a
the
Terry
streets.
bite, perhaps.
Speakers announcing for everyone to get into their rooms, get inside, or that they're
That's what I
currently
said.
experiencing some power emergency, and that experts
Kilo's
Experts
vindication.
have been deployed to fix the problem. Please step inside. There is no cause for concern. No cause. Just a bunch of, automated drone said to that. What a Kilo and Izzy do in response to We're
that's
back.
so weird.
Stream is back. It'll glitch out
Oh,
and
yeah.
then come back on.
All right. Yep.
So
there it is.
It'll
Izzy
glitch out.
and
I've
yeah,
been here
yeah,
the whole
glitch
time.
out.
Yay.
Aha.
You.
Done. Izzy,
Aha.
Kilo.
Tee-hee.
What do you do in response to these? That's where I started losing people.
Oh, I said
do
that
not
I
wanna go-
kind of ducked into a wall to try to avoid the cameras from the drones because I'm afraid they're gonna tell me to like go home.
That's going to be a hide check then.
All right, I'm not good at that, and I
Not
have
to
no
put-
drive. What's up?
You'll be fine.
Go on.
So I have to roll 2 at disadvantage.
Yep.
2 6s, 2 6s. I just
3.
want to see this big behemoth
3.
of a creature disappear.
It is. I am sad because the other one was a 6,
That takes
but
me
the
to
lower
3.
one is the 3.
So tragic.
So
So tragic.
we're going to describe your 3.
I'm a
What
big
is
boy.
in a moment? What does Izzy do? Is Izzy also kind of like trying to not be shoved or like ordered inside, or is Izzy just gonna step back in the gym? What's Izzy's
Now, are the
plan
drones
here?
like legit pushing people inside, or is it just they're just going?
They're just commanding. They're commanding. It's just a verbal.
I'm imagining a citizen. Please report to your like that kind of thing.
Yeah. And now you do know in this world, if you do not comply, this is all recorded. They have full identification on you the moment that they see you, and everything. So, like, if you don't comply, it's like a speed camera,
You get it.
right?
Do you get a ticket?
You can if you create too much problems, you can get a ticket,
I move
a fine
back.
for it.
I move back there,
Mailed.
but slow it fast enough where they think, "Oh, he's complying," but very slow enough where I'm deliberately not doing this.
Give me a hide roll for yourself as well. You also are not super good at hiding, but you do have a lot of drives if you wanna spend. You have 3 drives, so you can spend upwards of 3 things to get yourself up to 3d6, as opposed to disadvantage. Take the lower.
I'll use a drive.
Okay, so you can just roll even. So that's just a straight d6, whatever it is. It is.
It is a 6.
Very nice.
Oh, beautiful.
Wood.
Golf clap.
I had to think for a second. 'cause
I'm
I
get-
forget I have Dungeons and Doritos dice, and this is a 6 because the one's on the other side. I just-
Yeah.
Dungeons
If
and Doritos.
I'm gonna insert something, Terry,
gosh.
that comes to mind, or not Terry, Izzy, that comes to mind, because this is a weird situation. You're hearing a song. There's some people you've kind of glanced over. There's some weird people hovering over there. Looks like members of that religious order that loves to hang out in the fungal woods sometimes. Kilo just told you that a bunch of drones just dropped out of the sky. Dropped out of the sky. And they crashed into you. These warnings, this isn't an everyday occurrence or an even every year occurrence or every several years occurrence. So this is very strange. If you'll allow me, Izzy, you have a thought.
okay.
Because there's someone that you know, A, definitely has power at their house. B, definitely is watching all this happen to go down from the comfort of a chair in front of a monitor. And C, you could probably check if they're live right now.
Reluctantly. I think I know how we can find this out.
Cut to Terry. Terry, your
Right,
district isn't
straight
having any
vibing.
power problems. You're watching all this
Straight
news go on. Your audience, which is admittedly a little lower than it normally is, probably because of the power outages, there was a moment of panic that you had done something to not entertain them enough, and your numbers were going down. But you then realized, oh, power outage, they can't. they can't
It's not your
see
fault.
it.
And suddenly your Twitch gets a ping that says, "Is he freeballing?"
Is he free balling?
I believe that's a rather
Please, Lord,
personal
no.
question, sir.
Oh no. 1 second.
It's
my
okay.
camera
We can
died.
still hear you.
It's the power outage.
Oh
At
no!
Terry's
Wait,
house too.
My stream.
My stream.
Your camera goes dark on the stream. Everyone's like, "Are you okay, Terry?" And then
Yeah, me.
F's in the chat. Terry. I'll narrate a little bit here. You've been watching all the cameras. Fortunately, a deal had been made with many security district drone cameras for various news feeds to be able to jump between them and, daisy chain off of them so they can get real live on the street footage. There you are. Real live on the W's in the chat. When Terry's camera comes back on. The news streaming is jumping between things, and Terry, you get a DM that appears, off stream on the corner notification. Terry, you get a DM on because of course your communicator is synced with your setup.
Of course.
You get a DM, and it's a DM from Izzy that you're about to answer.
Okay.
But you instead hear a pounding at your front door. When do
Oh.
you think the last time anyone actually physically came to visit Terry in his space was?
A year? I drop everything and I go to my door. I'm so excited.
A year? Okay. Let's set up a bit of a scene. We know that Terry lives in like a relatively nice neighborhood, not like top tier, not even like next to top tier, but like still, like very well off people who make decent money and spend it badly. Kind of energy. And you have plenty of, like, when it comes to cash, that's not a concern. You have credits on credits on credits, and everything. You have to get approval to move to back to the neighborhoods you want to move to. So let's get a broad description of this place aesthetically. Is it super sparse and utilitarian? Is it filled with endless baubles of the past? Like, what is the overall aesthetic vibe of Terry Bytes' home?
I think it is very divided. Some parts are very like futuristic and technological and like high tech, the finest like technology of the current options for people who have money. But some parts have like some old shit that like Terry can't give up. Like he's like, no, but that was from 100 years ago when I got this and I was starting to stream, and I don't know. I think
So-
this, and also there's where he streams for the most time, like his setup, it's very fancy, like the setup itself, but like behind it, it's less fancy. He tries to look more like appealing to any type of audience, so it's not like super fancy right behind him, and that's all. You know how influencers sometimes, like people who are canceled, go to like a white background?
Yeah.
Kind of vibe, like
Yeah.
this
You
kind of vibe.
you like to keep you like to be a person of the people.
Yes.
And so you want to make sure
Just
that
that
they
dressing.
perceive you as that.
Terry's
Yes.
so approachable. Terry's one of
He's
us.
so-
approachable.
Well,
Yes.
the banging
Voice
on
of
the
the
door
people.
happens to
A jump scare.
banging on the door happens, and then you run up to answer the door. Do you
I-
check to see who it is on the security cam first?
I fix myself a little bit. Oh my god. Wasn't expecting anyone.
Put away that rogue baby hand,
Yeah.
finger, whatever, baby pinky.
And I
Um,
don't check. I just open the door.
Open the door. Great.
That's-
You get burst in upon. Not they're not by rioters, not by looters. They're not near this neighborhood. Medical professionals in hospital, clean, disposable jumpsuits. Fully masked and everything come in. You recognize these to be the emergency services professionals, but not of your neighborhood, but the ones that are part of the broader Veles station emergency services thing. And they're like, this building has power and we need to set it up as and it's secure. We need to set it up as a temporary medical space. Per Section 137-A-5, the station of Veles, for the greater good of the station, is occupying your private domicile as a space to triage medical need patients. And then one of the other people like looks at you, and they're like, oh. If that's okay, Mr. Bite. You can't really see their faces because they've got those kind of like full like headgear, like they're in like uniform, almost like light radiation suits, basically, and everything. And they've got that full headgear, but you can't see that they've got gurneys behind them.
It's like that scene in Hot Fuzz where everyone is clearly emoting under all of their, protective stuff at the crime scene, but like. Yeah, it's that. Sorry, go ahead.
Hello.
Is that okay?
I think Terry is like a little scared. Like, what? And then everything, like, he drops and he's like, "Oh, you know me."
Yeah, the other one, it's like, yes, I'm a bite baby. That means that you know the era that they became a fan of you. When you're fan, you didn't invent bite babies. It just caught on in your essentially Discord, and now it's a problem.
It says bite me
I
under
don't
it.
use that term. But thank you for the support.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Terry
affiliated
Bite's
with me.
going to help us out.
Yeah.
And so they stop paying attention to you.
No.
And they start wheeling people in.
Can I say something?
Do you try to physically stop them or sway them away from doing that?
I position myself in the door in a way that they have to push me and I try to say something before they start doing that.
Yeah, okay. What do you try to say?
Guys, I would absolutely love to help you guys. I love helping people. I love helping, but I can't because I'm on stream right now, and that would really disturb my audience. You guys know, you know me.
Oh, I hate that I'm
cannot.
missing your streams.
Yeah.
I don't have any more vacation days to watch for 32 hours straight. I'll have to catch the VODs.
Even 5 hours of your time is special for me.
5 hours is so little to ask. No, that's totally understandable. I need you to roll a sway because that's the one that recognizes you.
Okay.
You wouldn't even need to roll for it. The other person does not seem to know. The one that listed the code to you does not seem to know who you are.
My
Like getting
sway, can you check
reverse
with me?
swatted.
It's two dice.
They live under a rock.
Terry. Yeah.
How does the other one
so
not
your
know
sway
Terry
is
Bite?
2 dice.
2 dice.
2 dice, and you have up to 3, or you can spend an extra drive if you want to roll 3 dice. And your intent is, of course, to prevent them from using your space, right?
Oh yeah. I really don't want Alexander is not gonna
Alexander.
forgive me if I let them in and disturb the stream.
All right, so there's a consequence here. It's probably not what you're thinking, but it is pretty significant and potentially dangerous
Oh no.
if you
Don't
do
say
not
that.
roll well.
No, yeah, I'll use a
Danger.
drive and roll 3 dice.
Roll 3 in the highest number.
Danger.
It's a 4.
It's a mixed success.
Weak.
Fuck.
Mixed success.
You,
It'll be fine.
the other person goes to who is clearly their supervisor, your fan, your bite baby. Goes to your your supervisor
So icky.
or their supervisor, and they're like, we can't discern the stream. They managed to look over your shoulder, but there's so much space in here. We'll have the official government do an article on you if you can just take a couple bets. We can tuck them over there. That's not near your stream setup. I don't even recognize. Wow, you have so much stuff in here and everything. And the other person just doesn't even wait. They just push past you, starting to do that. They're like, fine, and they just grab 2 bets. This was on a mixed success, which is good. Do you try to physically stop the supervisor from doing it? Because you kind of got some leeway, you got some pause. They're gonna push past you. They're gonna deposit 2 gurneys in here with people that you haven't gotten a chance to look in.
I have the sweet talk ability, right?
Okay, what's the sweet talk ability?
You know how to work the room after you make a small talk with someone. You add 1 dice on a read roll. But I don't know if that would be a read roll, actually, now that I think about it.
You know what? I will let you do a reroll on it, but I will modify it for this moment. I will let you just reroll a full 3d6. It's not quite, I think, how it works.
Okay.
But I'll let you reroll a full 3d6 to see if you can get higher than a mixed success.
Your first time using.
And then I'll say, as a baby bite, I take my fans so seriously. You're my family, and I can't let them down.
No.
So unfortunately, I'm
No.
sure I have so many neighbors around here who can help you guys, and I'll
Not
help
you're
you
my family.
with entertainment.
Okay.
You
Now,
guys can.
I will warn you. This is good. I will warn you.
This is good.
When you do this reroll, the result of the reroll stands. It's not whatever was the better roll amongst both.
Okay.
This is you
This is the
rerolling. Now
final.
you are rolling 3d6, so it's unlikely you're going to get worse
Um,
than a mixed success,
okay.
but we'll find out.
Oh boy.
Okay.
No.
worse?
No, Julia, no. No, it's a 3, isn't it? It's a 3.
Is it a
It's
3?
high-
2
Oh,
2 ones and
Julia!
a 2.
With a failure,
They're moving in for
Fair.
the next 6 months.
you're right. They're like, this has nothing to do with government or family. This has everything to do with the needs of the station. Veles is one family, and they just shove you out of the way.
Is that
The
my
supervisor.
baby bite saying that to me?
No, not the baby bite. The baby
Okay.
bite is mortified by this behavior. Is like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But
I'll
then
do
some
it
other people start
dramatically. I'll be like, oh.
harrowing. All these gurneys start getting rolled in to Terry's space without that happening. Your chat is going off. You can hear the notifications, and because it was a failure, because it was a 2, several of these gurneys get rolled in, and this will be the last thing because I know it's a little past 8 Pacific time. Several of these gurneys roll in. In one of the gurneys, you're trying to scan, seeing what's happening, medical professionals are also coming in. Medical professionals are like nurses and medical assistants and everything. They're bringing in, saline bags and IV drips and stuff like that, like cart stations. Your place has plenty of room for this. Just to be clear, they're not knocking your stuff over. They're being polite enough about your things.
Things.
They're not polite. It's my house.
But you haven't experienced this kind of behavior in a long time from the official branches of Veles' government, even these utilitarian person. If this was a private security force, you'd have a lot more leverage because you could just pay them to go away.
It's not very nice.
It's not. You look around, you see a few things. You see first a person in a person that has bird-like features, who eyes are open, but they're streaming water and they're not looking at anything. And they've got two people and they're sort of gently humming something.
No.
Gently humming something. And they've got two like EMTs kind of over them trying to fix it, dabbing around their cheek feathers to try and figure out what's going on with them. But they're not responsive. Then you see this person that is not the kind of person you would spend a lot of time with at first. And then you realize it is a person that you kind of recognize. A little dirty. Looks like they're unconscious. Wild kind of haircut. Kind of street clothes.
Ew.
Fully drooling. As there are Nim and Eddie in some of the gurneys. After about 8 of them are wheeled in before it gets too crowded, and they've been wheeled into different rooms, you would be like, is that Eddie? And while you're thinking that, they close the door. It's you. It's a bunch of medical professionals. They've moved on to one of your neighbors because they've got more to drop off. Everyone in here seems like they're unconscious. I'm going to have you roll one last roll. And this one for Terry is going to be a sense roll. And oh, buddy, would I recommend that you need to or a focus. You could do focus. You could do focus here. You could justify focus.
Burn some drives, baby.
Yeah, you have 2 dots in focus already, and you have 3 drives in intuition that you can.
Yes, I'm gonna. I can put 2 drives. Plus.
I'm gonna let you roll up to I'm gonna let you roll up to 4d6 on this. So it will be, you can spend up to 2 of your drives and do a 4d6. This won't cause physical harm, but it is extremely consequential that you catch this.
Oh boy!
Okay.
Come on!
Come on, Terry.
You got it.
Ooh,
Good.
it's
Good?
4
Good?
fours.
Really?
4
4
fours.
fours?
That has to be
That's
something.
wild.
4
4
fours.
fours.
Terry, just as you look back to your communicator, because it's now de-paired with your stream setup because you've been away from your stream for long enough, or farther out of reach, it now buzzes and rings in your hand, which you open because you see that it's Izzy giving you a call, which is strange because Izzy doesn't usually call you, but Izzy doesn't usually call you, but you're at least friendly enough to have their number in your phone. And so they give you a call, and just as you go to answer it, you turn and you see them coming, because up from one of the gurneys, two of the gurneys, 2 bodies appear. One, both in suits, pinstripe suits with wide bars. One of them,
Oh no.
just like the most mooky Italian mob stereotype you've ever seen. Young guy, greasy, slick black hair, and everything like that. Another, just a hulking body of muscle stuffed into a suit, a double-breasted suit that's still a little too small for him. And you don't know these two. And Eddie's not awake.
Oh,
But
shit.
Tommy
Oh fuck.
and Tommy's hench have found their way into a very nice neighborhood during these power outages. And we'll get back to how they got there. But with it being about 8-10 p.m. Pacific, Terry, you see that one of them literally already has a blaster out.
Oh my god. Okay.
And so, Izzy, you hear Terry yell.
I mute
on the
the
phone,
stream first. I mute the stream.
No, it's on the
It's
communicator.
already de-pairing.
Oh yeah,
You're
but
good.
it's a pair. I don't have
so
a
the
mic.
communicator depaired.
You're okay.
So you're not on mic. Mike can't hear you. But Izzy, who just called you and you just went to pick it up and everything, but before you could actually say hi to do that. So on Izzy and Kilo's side, you hear just Kilo, you just hear somebody yell, "Oh my god!" And Izzy, you hear Terry yell that out, and that's where we're going to cut this episode of Cosmos Candela. So wonderful. We'll rip through the extraductions. We're gonna just start from our wonderful Terry Bite. Perfect energy of a wealthy person that wants to be perceived as good but will not be bothered to actually help when they
So good.
absolutely could.
Why?
Perfect energy.
I cannot be bothered.
Julia,
by
where
such
can
people.
people find you?
Oh my god, at stark.ju on Instagram and everywhere else.
And everywhere
You're like a
else.
cyber dystopian Mr. Beast.
Oh,
doing
no,
Little bit.
I'm not.
Little bit. More charismatic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not cannibalistic. Cannibal.
Okay. And then Will, where can people find you?
You can find me on pretty much all the socials as Radio Free Will. There's an underscore on YouTube, but everywhere else it's just Radio Free Will. It's Radio underscore Free Will on YouTube.
Kelly, where can people find you?
I am the Kel Hop everywhere.
Perfect. Glitch, where can people find you on the internet?
I will be just search that son of a glitch. You'll find me eventually on something. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Although I don't really use my YouTube that much.
And Abby, where can people find you?
In general, you can find me on TikTok for however long and Instagram, and I just got a lemonade and I don't know how to use it, but I'll figure
Me
it out.
neither.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that.
looking.
I gotta do
I'm
that.
looking at other things. I'm checking it out.
I'm there.
Oh,
I don't know
nice.
what it is.
Bruh, I just signed up. I have no idea. They're like, do you want to use your same
Okay.
username? I'm like, fuck yeah, I do. I don't know how to do shit.
Another social that you can find me on is startplaying.games. If you would like to book me to be your GM for a game,
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh boy.
He's a really good DM.
I'm all right.
Does all the fun games. So fun.
So we're gonna read ADH&D Ventures.
Yes.
Because
Great.
I don't know what they're doing right now, but we're going to be out of here. We'll be back next Tuesday. Check the VOD tomorrow. It probably won't be in the morning because I have to clean it up a little bit, but it'll be on the YouTube channel. Follow us on socials. Follow me on socials at Dying of Exposure anywhere. That's where you can get updates about this show. And, go look up Error 313, a podcast that Kel Hop is a voice actor for, that are currently fundraising for their second season. And it is delightful to listen to, and they just need a little bit of cash to make sure that the thing can actually get made. So go look for that. But for now, bye everyone.
Night, gang.
Bye.
Night.
Okay. We'll just wait for the raid to finish. I realize
Oh
I
my
should have
gosh, rating.
triggered it ever so slightly earlier.
Oh my gosh, rating.
Right
Bye,
now.
bye, 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 bye.
Done.
It's the Barbie. Is he gone? Are they gone?
And we
Goodbye.
Are they still here?
Goodbye.